now know that climate change is, and will be in the future, responsible for a rise in sea level due to the combined effect of melting ice and thermal expansion. The global average sea level has already risen by 16 centimeters and will continue to do so under any future scenario. According to the IPCC, which proposes 4 scenarios depending on the decision taken by states on greenhouse gas emissions, the sea level will continue to rise and could reach between 25 centimeters and 1 meter by the end of the century. In addition, there will be an increase in the frequency of extreme events, such as floods or storms. Events that occur today once a century could occur annually by 2100. What would be the consequences of this rising water level? In 2010, nearly 30% of the human beings lived less than 100 kilometers from the coast. There is therefore a large coastal population. If we take into account all the people living less than 10 meters above sea level or close to the coast, this represents 700 million people who could be affected, since it is estimated that 70% of the coastlines we know today will be impacted by the end of the century. The changes undergone by these areas and the consequences that first come to mind are the erosion of this coast, of course, but also the displacement of the population concerned. However, coastal ecosystems will also suffer from this rising sea level, and some may even be destroyed. This is already what's happening in coral reefs. Another disastrous consequence for a human population is that salt water will infiltrate the water tables and contaminate freshwater reserves. But then, can anything be done about it? Yes, states are not powerless in the face of these observations. Since climate change is a fact and since its consequences are already having an impact, then humans have to adapt. Among the adaptation measures, the ones that combat rising sea levels are varied. They range from the constructions of dikes, which can be costly, to the restoration of coastal ecosystems, mangroves for example, to reduce wave energy, to more radical measures, such as the abandonment of the coastline by populations. The latter will not be without consequences, since it would lead to significant movements of these populations. Major investments will therefore be necessary, but they will pay for themselves by reducing flood risk on a global scale. If we wait too long, coastal protection will be increasingly difficult to ensure because of its financial and social costs, which are increasing. In addition to those adaptation measures, we also have to act on the origin of climate change. This is why mitigation measures have a key role to play. Because mitigation means greenhouse gas emission reduction, it thus leads to better capacity to react. More generally, the more that is done to address climate change, the greater the potential for adaptation.